I 24F have been with my boyfriend 29M for almost 2 years. I just caught him kissing my best friend. I don't know what to believe. We actually met in a very random way. About 2 years ago, I was out on an evening walk near my apartment after a long day. I had my headphones in, half zoned out, when I noticed a guy walking his dog who kept glancing over at me. At first, I thought nothing of it. But a few minutes later, the dog stopped right in front of me and refused to move. The guy laughed, apologized, and used it as an excuse to start a conversation. We ended up walking together for almost an hour. We talked about everything: work, family, bad dating experiences, random life stuff. It felt easy in a way I wasn't used to. Before we parted ways, he asked for my number, and I remember thinking, why not? I had nothing to lose. From there, things grew naturally. We took things slow at first: casual dates, long talks, getting to know each other properly. He was older, more settled in life, and that made me feel secure. After a few months, we made things official. My best friend 24F has been in my life much longer. We've been close for years, through college stress, breakups, family drama, everything. She's always been the person I trusted the most. When I started dating my boyfriend, it did take her some time to warm up to him. Not because she disliked him, but because she's naturally cautious with the people I date. She's protective, and honestly, I used to appreciate that about her. At first, our worlds felt separate, my relationship on one side, my friendship on the other. But over time, she started hanging out with us more. Group dinners, movie nights, random errands together. Slowly, the awkwardness faded. Eventually, the three of us became comfortable around each other. Too comfortable, maybe. They joked together, teased each other, bonded over shared interests. I didn't see anything wrong with it. In fact, I felt relieved. It felt like my two favorite people in the world getting along. Last Saturday night, the three of us decided to go to a party together. It was hosted by one of my boyfriend's friends. We talked about it all day beforehand: what we'd wear, how we'd get there, how we were going to actually let loose and have fun for once. And honestly, at first, it was great. The music was good, the energy was fun, and everyone was in a good mood. We started drinking pretty early. I'm usually careful with alcohol, but even I was feeling relaxed and happy. My boyfriend and my best friend, though, were drinking much faster than I was. Shots, mixed drinks, laughing louder as the night went on. I remember watching them dance and thinking, this is nice. This feels normal. The three of us were laughing, taking pictures, joking around like we always did. Nothing felt off. If anything, I felt safe. At some point, I realized my makeup was starting to smudge from the heat and dancing. I told them I was going to the bathroom to fix it and asked if they wanted to come with me. They said they'd stay put and grab another drink. I was gone maybe 10 minutes. Not long at all. When I came back, they weren't where I left them. At first, I wasn't worried. I assumed they went to get drinks or stepped outside for air. I walked around the room, scanning faces, checking corners. I didn't see either of them. A few minutes passed, and a small knot of unease formed in my stomach. I texted my boyfriend. No response. I texted my best friend. Nothing. That's when my thoughts started spiraling. Did they leave? Did something happen? Did they go home without telling me? I felt stupid for even thinking that, but the feeling wouldn't go away. I kept looking. Eventually, I spotted them in a dim corner near the back of the house. At first, I only saw their backs. I remember feeling relieved for half a second, until I saw how close they were standing. Then I saw it. They were kissing. Not a quick, accidental peck. Not a misunderstanding. They were fully, unmistakably kissing. My heart dropped into my stomach. Time felt like it slowed down. I remember feeling hot, shaky, and completely numb all at once. My own brain couldn't process what my eyes were seeing. My boyfriend, my best friend, together. That moment shocked me more than anything I've ever experienced. For a few seconds, I just stand there. I don't rush over. I don't scream. I don't cry. I just freeze, staring at them from across the room, trying to understand what I'm seeing. My brain starts scrambling for explanations, anything that would make this hurt less. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe they're just really drunk and joking around. Maybe I should look away and pretend I didn't see it. I actually consider turning around and leaving. Just walking out of the party without saying a word. Letting them finish whatever this is and dealing with it later, in private. The thought crosses my mind because I suddenly become painfully aware of where I am. A crowded house full of people, loud music, alcohol, and gossip waiting to happen. If I make a scene, everyone will know. If I confront them here, this becomes public. If my voice shakes or I start crying, people will stare. I look around and notice how normal everything else seems. People are laughing, dancing, shouting over the music. No one else has noticed what's happening in that corner. For a brief moment, I think maybe I can keep it that way. But then I look back at them. They're still kissing, and something inside me snaps. The longer I stand there, the more the shock turns into anger. My hands start shaking, not from fear, but from rage. I realize that if I don't say something now, I'll regret it forever. If I walk away, I'll be letting them rewrite this moment later. I'll be letting them control the story. So I take a deep breath. Then another. Every step toward them feels heavy. My heart is pounding so loudly that I can barely hear the music anymore. With each step, doubts flood my mind. What if I'm overreacting? What if they laugh it off and make me look crazy? What if everyone hears and turns to look? I think about how humiliating this could be. I imagine people whispering. I imagine becoming that girl who lost it at a party. I imagine the drama following me long after tonight. But then I remember something else. I remember that I didn't do anything wrong. By the time I reach them, they still haven't noticed me. They're completely wrapped up in each other, like I don't even exist. That realization hurts more than the kiss itself. I stop right in front of them. My voice comes out louder than I expect. What the hell are you doing? They both jump back instantly, like teenagers caught doing something they shouldn't. My boyfriend's face goes pale. My best friend's eyes widen in shock. For a split second, no one says anything. The music keeps playing. People keep talking. The world doesn't stop, even though mine just did. I look at them, really look at them, and the words start spilling out before I can stop them. This is disgusting, I say. My voice is shaking now, but I don't care. Are you actually serious right now? My boyfriend stumbles over his words, clearly drunk, clearly panicking. My best friend looks at the floor. Neither of them can meet my eyes. I feel years of trust collapse in seconds. I don't wait for explanations. I don't want to hear excuses in that moment. I just know that whatever they say, it won't undo what I've already seen. Everyone might hear, everyone might judge, but right now, I don't care. Because the people I trusted most just betrayed me, right in front of me. For a moment after I call them out, neither of them says anything. They just stand there, frozen. My boyfriend's mouth opens like he wants to speak, then closes again. My best friend looks like she might disappear into the floor. The shock on their faces almost feels rehearsed, like they're both trying to process how badly they've been caught. The silence stretches long enough to feel uncomfortable. Finally, my boyfriend starts talking. He sounds frantic, slurring slightly, words tumbling over each other. He keeps saying my name, over and over, like that alone might calm me down. I swear, I thought it was you, he says. I was drunk, I didn't realize, everything was confusing, the lights, the music. I really thought it was you. I stare at him, completely stunned. The explanation doesn't land, not even a little. I look at my best friend. Different height, different hair, different clothes. Someone I've known for years. Someone he has known for years. The idea that he could mistake her for me feels insulting. It feels like he's grasping for anything that might make this seem less intentional. I tell him that. I tell him I don't believe him. He keeps going anyway, repeating himself, saying it was a mistake, that he didn't mean for it to happen, that he was drunk and not thinking straight. Each sentence sounds more desperate than the last. While he's talking, I turn to my best friend. She still hasn't said a word. Her face is red, eyes glossy, hands shaking. She looks ashamed, really ashamed, but also terrified. When I ask her how this happened, she just shakes her head at first, like she can't even find the words. I don't know, she says quietly. I didn't mean to, I swear. I press her. I ask her why she didn't stop it. Why she didn't think of me. Why she didn't walk away. That's when the excuses start. She says she was drunk. That she wasn't thinking clearly. That it just happened. She says she felt awkward and didn't know how to stop it once it started. She says she thought he was confused, that it was a mistake, that it would end quickly. None of it makes sense. I can hear how flimsy it all sounds, even as she's saying it. Every excuse contradicts the next one. The more they talk, the more I realize they aren't actually taking responsibility, they're just trying to reduce the damage. What hurts most is how separate they suddenly feel from me. They're standing together, explaining themselves, while I'm on the outside, listening. It feels like they've already formed a quiet alliance, whether they mean to or not. People start glancing over. I notice a couple of heads turn. Someone nearby goes quiet. That's when it hits me that we're still in the middle of a party, and this conversation is no longer private. I feel exposed, humiliated. I realize I don't want to hear any more. No explanation is going to make this better. No excuse is going to undo what I saw. So I stop them. I tell them I don't believe either of them. I tell them that being drunk isn't an excuse, and confusion isn't an explanation. I tell them that whatever this was, it crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. They both look panicked now. My boyfriend reaches for me, and I step back. That's when I decide I can't stay there another second. At that point, I can feel myself reaching a breaking point. My chest felt tight, my throat burned, and I knew that if I stay there any longer, I'm either going to start crying or saying things I can't take back. I don't want either of them to see me like that. I don't want to give them the comfort of thinking they've talked me down. So I tell them I'm leaving. My voice is flat, almost numb. I didn't yell. I didn't insult them anymore. I just say it and turn away. As soon as I started walking toward the door, both of them follow me. My boyfriend kept calling my name, asking me to slow down, telling me we can talk, that he just needs a minute to explain properly. He said I'm overreacting because I'm upset and that things will make more sense once we're calm. Every word feels like another slap. My best friend started crying. She kept saying she's sorry, that she never meant to hurt me, that she loves me and would never intentionally betray me. She said this one mistake shouldn't destroy everything. I don't respond. The night air hits my face when I step outside, and it finally felt like I could breathe again. My hands were shaking as I walked toward my car. I could hear them behind me, still talking, still trying to pull me back into a conversation I don't want to have. When I reach my car, my boyfriend tries one last time. He stepped closer and tells me to please not leave like this. He said he doesn't want me driving while I'm emotional. He said he'll come with me so we can talk privately. That's when I finally turn around. I told him, very clearly, that he is not coming with me. I told him that I don't want to see him tonight, that I don't want him in my space, and that I don't want to hear any more explanations. I told him he can stay with his college roommate or figure something else out, but he is not coming home with me. He looked stunned. My best friend went quiet. For a second, I almost felt guilty, but it passed quickly. What replaced it is a strange sense of resolve. This is the first decision I've made since walking back from the bathroom that feels entirely mine. I get into my car and lock the doors. My boyfriend knocks on the window once, softly. I didn't look at him. I start the engine and drove away. As I pull out, my hands were still shaking so badly that I had to grip the steering wheel just to keep the car steady. The music was still faintly audible from the house behind me, and that felt like the world is continuing as if nothing just happened. But for me, everything has changed. As I'm driving home, my phone starts lighting up almost immediately. It buzzes on the passenger seat. Then again, and again. Calls, missed calls, messages stacking on top of each other. I don't even need to look at the screen to know who it is. Part of me is curious about what they're saying now. What version of the story they're trying to tell. What excuses they've come up with on the drive from the party to wherever they are. But I don't pick up. I'm too angry, too drained, too emotionally exhausted to hear their voices or read their apologies. I know that whatever they're saying right now isn't for me, it's for them. It's about easing their guilt, not repairing what they broke. I put my phone face down and focus on the road, trying to keep my breathing steady. Every red light feels longer than usual. My hands still shake on the steering wheel, and I feel this dull pressure behind my eyes, like I might cry at any moment but can't quite get there. When I finally get home, the silence hits me all at once. I drop my keys on the counter, kick off my shoes, and just stand there for a second, staring at nothing. The apartment feels unfamiliar, like it belongs to a different version of me, one who hadn't walked into a party and watched her life implode in a corner of a room. I sit down on my bed and finally check my phone. Dozens of messages. My boyfriend apologizing, explaining, promising it meant nothing. My best friend saying she's ashamed, that she never meant to hurt me, that she'd do anything to fix it. I scroll through them without really reading, the words blurring together until they all sound the same. I set the phone aside again. Instead, my mind starts replaying the night on a loop. The moment I went to the bathroom. The way I couldn't find them. The split second of relief before the shock hit. I start wondering when things first started going wrong, if there were signs I ignored. I think back to the times they laughed a little too hard together. The inside jokes I wasn't part of. The moments where I felt like a third wheel but brushed it off because I trusted them. I wonder if I was naive or if this really came out of nowhere. Eventually, exhaustion wins. I crawl into bed without changing, still fully dressed, phone buzzing on the nightstand. I don't respond to anyone. I don't make any decisions. I just let the weight of everything settle over me. As I drift off to sleep, one thought keeps looping in my head. I trusted them, and now I don't know who I can trust anymore. I wake up the next morning feeling hollow. It takes a few seconds for reality to catch up to me, and then it all comes rushing back. The party, the corner of the room, the kiss. My stomach drop all over again. My phone was still on the nightstand, and when I pick it up, there are even more messages than the night before. Missed calls from my boyfriend. Long paragraphs from my best friend. I didn't open any of them. I felt emotionally bruised, like I ran a marathon I didn't train for. I made myself get out of bed, shower, and try to feel human again, but everything felt off. Even simple things, brushing my teeth, making coffee, feel heavier than they should. I kept replaying moments in my head, trying to make sense of something that still doesn't make sense. Late in the morning, there's a knock at my door. My heart immediately starts racing. I already know who it is. I didn't answer right away. I stand there quietly, hoping maybe he'll leave. But then there's another knock, softer this time. Then I hear his voice through the door, saying my name and asking me to please talk to him. Part of me wanted to ignore him completely. I didn't invite him. I wasn't ready. But another part of me knows that if I don't hear him out now, this will just drag on in my head. So I open the door. He looks terrible. His eyes are red, like he hasn't slept. His clothes are wrinkled, and he looked smaller somehow, like the confidence I used to associate with him has completely drained away. He immediately starts apologizing, telling me he knows he messed up, telling me he didn't mean to show up unannounced but didn't know what else to do. I told him to stop talking for a second. I need space. I need calm. I told him that if we're going to talk, it needs to be without yelling, without excuses, and without trying to rush me into forgiving him. He nods quickly, almost desperately. After a long pause, I step aside and let him in. We sat on opposite ends of the couch, leaving a noticeable gap between us. The silence stretch again, just like it did at the party, only this time it's heavier. There's no music to drown it out. He start explaining. He tell me again that he was drunk, that the night felt blurry, that things escalated before he fully processed what was happening. He insisted there were no feelings involved, that it wasn't planned, that it was a stupid, reckless mistake. I listen. I really do. I keep my voice calm when I asked questions. I asked why he didn't stop. Why he didn't think of me. Why, out of all people, it had to be my best friend. I told him how humiliating it felt, how disrespected I felt watching it happen in front of me. He admitted he crossed a line. He said he hates himself for it. He said he understands if I can't forgive him. I don't interrupt. I don't cry. I don't yell. But even as I listen with an open mind, something feels fundamentally broken. His words don't bring relief. They don't make me feel safer. They just confirm what I already know, that no explanation can undo the fact that he made a choice. When he finished talking, the room went quiet again. I realized that staying calm doesn't mean staying convinced. After he finished explaining himself, I sit there for a moment, letting the silence stretch. I can feel my heart beating steadily now, not racing, not panicking. Just heavy, grounded. This is the moment where I realize that if I don't ask the hard questions now, I'll always wonder later. So I do. I ask him if this is the first time something like this has ever happened. Not just with my best friend, but with anyone else while we've been together. I told him I need the truth, not the version that sounds best. He swear it's the first time. He said he's never cheated on me before, never crossed a line like this, never even came close. I watched his face carefully as he say it, looking for hesitation, for cracks. I don't know whether I fully believe him, but I take in his answer. I asked him if, in that moment, he knew it wasn't me. He hesitated. That hesitation told me more than the words that follow. He said he realized partway through, but by then things had already gone too far. That it was confusing, that he was drunk, that he panicked. I told him that's not comforting. Him choosing not to stop once he knew was a decision, not an accident. I asked him how he would feel if the roles were reversed, if I had been the one kissing his close friend while drunk. He went quiet. He said it would destroy him. I told him it's doing exactly that to me. There's a long pause after that. Then I told him what I need, very clearly. I told him that for now, we are not back together. That I need space to think without pressure, without constant apologies, without being asked to reassure him. I told him I'm not promising forgiveness or reconciliation, and I won't be rushed into either. I told him he is not to contact my best friend anymore, not to explain himself, not to check in, not to make things less awkward. If this relationship is going to have any chance at all, that boundary is non-negotiable. I also told him that I need complete honesty going forward. No minimizing. No, it didn't mean anything. No blaming alcohol. If he wants me to even consider rebuilding trust, I need accountability, not excuses. He listened. He didn't argue. He said he understood. He said he'll do whatever it takes. He asked if there's hope. I told him the truth. I told him I don't know yet. And for the first time since the night of the party, I feel like I'm no longer reacting, I'm choosing. After he left, I spent most of the day alone with my thoughts. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't answer messages. I just sit with everything that's happened, replaying it from different angles, trying to separate emotion from reality. By the afternoon, I realized something important. I've heard his version. If I'm going to move forward in any direction, I need to hear hers too. Not through texts, not through voice notes full of apologies. Face to face. So that evening, I message my best friend and tell her we need to talk. I didn't explain further. I didn't soften it. She replied almost immediately, saying yes, saying she's been sick with guilt, saying she'll come over whenever I want. When she arrives, she looks different. She wouldn't meet my eyes at first. Her voice was quiet, careful, like she was walking on glass. We sit on opposite ends of the couch. I told her I'm not there to yell. I'm not there to comfort her either. I need honesty, real honesty, because whether our friendship survives depends on it. Then I asked the question that's been sitting in my chest all day. I asked her if that kiss was truly a mistake, or if it was something she'd wanted before that night. She froze up. For a moment, she just stared at her hands. Then she shook her head quickly and said it wasn't planned, that she would never intentionally hurt me like that. She said they were both drunk, that things got blurry, that it just happened. But something about the way she said it feels rehearsed. So I push a little more. I asked her if she's ever had feelings for him, ever crossed emotional boundaries, ever joked, flirted, or shared things with him that she wouldn't have if I wasn't in the room. She hesitated again. She admitted that over time, they did get close. That they talked a lot. That sometimes it felt easier to talk to him than to anyone else. She insisted it was always harmless, always platonic, but even as she said it, I could hear the cracks forming. I asked her if she's ever imagined something happening between them. She didn't answer right away. That silence hit harder than any confession could. Eventually, she said she never intended for anything to happen, but she can't honestly say the thought never crossed her mind. My mind went blank. I asked her one last thing. I asked her if I hadn't walked in when I did, how far it would have gone. Her eyes fill with tears. She said she doesn't know. And somehow, that answer told me everything. After my former best friend left, I didn't feel the relief I thought I might. There's no clarity, no sense of closure, just a dull heaviness that settled in my chest. I lied awake that night thinking about our friendship, about all the years before relationships complicated things. Inside jokes, late night talks, being there for each other without question. I think about how easy it would be to forgive her just to keep all of that intact. But then I think about self-respect. I realize that forgiving someone doesn't automatically mean letting them back into the same place in your life. Trust, once cracked, doesn't magically rebuild itself just because time passes or apologies are made. The truth I keep coming back to is this: even if the kiss was unplanned, the closeness that led to it wasn't. Boundaries blurred long before that night, and I can't ignore that without betraying myself. By morning, I knew what I need to do. I messaged her and told her that while I'm not ready to completely cut her off, things can't go back to how they were. I told her I need distance. That for now, our friendship has to be casual, limited, and without emotional closeness. I told her this isn't punishment, it's protection. I explained that I need time to see whether trust can exist again, even in a smaller form. And if, over time, things continue to feel heavy, uncomfortable, or forced, then I'll have to accept that the friendship may not survive this. She said she understood. She said she'll respect whatever boundaries I need. I don't know if she truly does yet. But for the first time since everything happened, I choose myself over the fear of losing people. And that feels like the beginning of something different, even if I don't know where it leads yet. In the following week, I find myself trying to rebuild something with my boyfriend, slowly, carefully, like handling glass that could shatter at any moment. We don't jump back into normal routines. There's no pretending everything is fine. Instead, we talk more than we ever have before, sometimes uncomfortably so. I start paying attention to my own emotions in a way I hadn't before. When anger rises, I don't lash out. When fear creeps in, I sit with it instead of ignoring it. I realize how much emotional regulation matters, not just for saving a relationship, but for protecting my own peace. He makes an effort too. He checks in before assumptions. He listens without interrupting. He owns what he did instead of deflecting it. Some days, it feels like we're moving forward. Other days, the hurt resurfaces without warning, and I pull back again. At the same time, I keep my friendship separate and contained. I still see my best friend, but only in controlled doses. Coffee in public places, short conversations, no late-night talks, no emotional venting. I avoid situations where all three of us could ever be together again. Not because I trust her, but because I don't trust the situation. I'm painfully aware that I'm walking a tightrope, trying to hold on to my relationship, my friendship, and my sense of self all at once. I'm scared that if I pull too hard in one direction, everything will collapse. Some days, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing, or just delaying the inevitable. Other days, I tell myself that growth doesn't always look clean or confident, that sometimes it looks like learning boundaries the hard way. What I do know is this: I'm no longer acting out of impulse or fear alone. I'm choosing restraint, reflection, and self-control, even when it's uncomfortable. And even though I'm afraid of losing everything, I'm slowly learning that losing myself would be worse.